6-inch Butch Soper, a surfer, 130 pounds, wind wet.
Chris, and who can forget what a tremendous victory he had last year. He went the first 9 frames without a strike, came up in the 10th frame needing 2 strikes to win the match. One of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen in professional bowlers history. Threw a double, and he became the 2nd AC Delco champion.
Leaving the 4-7.
Butch playing a much different line than the other right-handers we've seen so far. He's more in the track area, the worn area on the right side between the 2nd and 3rd arrows. The other right-handers were out by the 1st arrow for more strike power. Butch is just trying to keep it in play, keep the match close.
So marking with a spare in the 1st frame. Loser of this match, $8,500. The winner goes into the finals for either $27,000 or $14,000. Here's the left-hander, tremendous athlete. 1 victory in 2 years as a professional on tour. Yes.
Watch this pin action. Now watch the action of the head pin as it goes to the sideboard. It's driven off the sideboard. You think it's out of play, but the buzzsaw has put the power to it. It keeps it in play, keeps it spinning, rolls across the deck, drives out the 7. That's the messenger shot. It takes a lot of power, a lot of speed to carry that shot. This man is red hot.
Had a 300 last night. Final game, position round. And now he has a double. And if he can bowl 10 more, True Value would present him with a $100,000 check. True Value again being very generous, and in Peoria at the True Value Open, should a bowler bowl a perfect 300 game, it's $200,000.
Chris, 42 games this week. You see the early leaders, Dennis Jakes, all be taking the lead in the finals.
And don't count out this 130-pounder, Butch Soper, well-groomed from Huntington Beach, California. Told me he just moved. Now instead of walking to the beach, he has to ride his bicycle. Get his legs in shape anyway.
A man who has the stature and comportment of one of the great players of all time, the great Hank Marino from Santa Monica, California, throws the same type of ball. A little spinner, a little hook, and good pin action.
And the bucket 2-4-5-8 on the left lane.
Losing the ball slightly on the downswing, did not get quite the lift necessary to make the ball finish into the pins for a strike. And as you hear Butch's fingers pop out of the ball, that's just from the very tight finger holes he uses in a vacuum effect as they come out of the ball.
2 PBA titles. It's everything. Entire body behind each shot, Butch Soper. And the whip, John Gant of Pittsburgh.
He got his degree from the University of Cincinnati, majoring in education. Right now he's giving those pins a little lesson with that powerful ball.
Leaving the 6-pin on the right lane.
Oh, but the 6-pin.
Dr. Timberding and son Evan. You know, he says, Chris, he says the one problem he has in bowling, he still has to use 2 hands, but down the line we've given tips for the little kids to use 2 hands with a bowling ball, and that's basically to keep the finger holes on one side of the lane and the thumb hole on the other, and roll the ball between the thumb and fingers. Keeps the ball in the lanes for the little guys.
I'll bet Nelson Sr. taught you that when you were 3, right, Bo?
Well, he started me with a duck pin ball, Chris. Today's machines won't pick up the duck pin, so you have to go with the light ball for the little guys. A duck pin ball being very small and weighing only 4 pounds.
The true candidate for the 1984 Rookie of the Year, John Gant of Pittsburgh, a strike in the 4th. We're running behind time in our 90-minute time slot. We'll be bowling through, but we'll keep you up to date when we return.
I don't compete anymore, but I still pump iron. So after lifting a few hundred pounds, it's nice to lift one of these. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great, and it's less filling with 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. Now, you know, bodybuilding is hard work, but having a great body has its advantages. Sure makes it easy to pick up guys. Hi, Rodney.
Well, hi there. What's going on here? Hey, honey, how about a lift home, huh? Like beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
While we were away, a strike in the 4th frame, now the 5th. And again on the left lane, the bucket. 2, 4, 5, 8. Very close match.
Chris, this is reminiscent of the match he rolled in the AC Delco Championship last year, where he just struggled along, kept it in place. You see the ball sliding by once again, leaving the 2, 4, 5, 8. The bucket, a difficult spare. He needs to convert this to continue to trail by 9 pins.
Did it. Both professionals continuing to mark. This is our 3rd match. Troop winning the first in a roll-off, 39-37 over Pete McCormick. And this man, Gant, eliminated Troop, 226-193. Now a 9-pin lead. Hoping to add to it. He's left the 2, 4, 7.
The first really errant shot as we see the footwork of John Gant, a nice, methodical, powerful delivery. Driving through with 4 steps, sliding down at the line, a little stiff leg at the line. He pulled up, and that's the reason the ball went high, cut through the pins and left the 2, 4, 7. His first really difficult spare shot. Here he goes.
And the Denver Open winner last year now has a spare in the 5th frame, 3rd game. Next week, Torrance, California.
Watch John Gant as he sets up. He has a fingertip grip, and he uses a tremendous wrist action. Watch, the fingers are just inserted to the first knuckle. Oh, there he goes, just very tight hold. Now watch that snapping wrist action as he lets go of the ball. That's what puts the power on the ball, just not turning over the top of it. Bingo, right there. Too much, Chris. He got a great break as he crossed over. Watch this ball. Very sharp break. Crossing over to the right-hand side, the 1-3. Look at that. It's called an RBF, we call that, where the 3-pin actually knocked out the 5-pin, a reverse blowing 5. As you see, Evan, he liked that one.
Butch's high hit left him the 3-6-10. Mike Albee, a left-hander, the tournament leader, continues to warm up off to our right. Thus you'll hear pinfall like right there. That's Mike. Striking over there on that lane, but the championship pair is something else, as our bowlers are finding out today. Costly open frame for Soper, coming in the 6th, 106 through that many frames, and now trailing by 23. There he is, Mike Albee. The great young players. He'll meet the winner of this match. 6 years on tour, 6 victories.
Soper has to get it going here. Big trouble. 7th frame. He trails by 23.
The 10.
Bad luck. Solid 10. It's the first time he's been up solid in the pocket on that particular lane. The 1st frame, he was a little high. The 3rd frame, he went light for the bucket. The 5th frame, light for the bucket again. And now a near perfect hit, the solid 10. Channel shot, leaving the 10, and it's another open frame, back-to-back for Butch Soper. Bowling through as we're running behind our schedule, but we'll be back to bring you up to date. This is Butch Soper now. He is shooting in the 8th frame after 2 opens, trailing by 40, and gets the elusive strike on the right lane. While we were away, in the 7th, a strike for John Gant, giving him a double, as you see. And then he left the 1-3-9, covered it for his spare in the 8th frame. Comfortable lead of 41, which could possibly mean it'll be an all-left-hander final. If Butch Soper does not strike on this ball, you can bet on it. He still hangs in there.
Yeah, he does.
It stays alive.
Did that last year. And his first strike on the left lane.
The situation is this for John Gant in this match. Gant going at a 216 pace, Soper a possible 205. That would be only an 11-pin difference, even though the Gant leads by 31 now. If he makes any mistake, he'll open the door for a very tough Butch Soper. He has to go for just 2 pins. He cannot go for the split. Watch him. He just throws that powerful hook, but he lets it break too sharply on the back and cuts right through the heart. 1,500 to 1 for old big ears for the pros, and I think John will just go for 2 of them.
And he goes for the left side, and it gets 1.
Slides by.
John Gant. Well, it's a game often of perfection, a game of errors, breaks. That's why it's been so exciting all these 23 seasons as we're in our 24th, the AC Delco Classic. First of 16 consecutive live Saturday afternoon telecasts. New time, 3 Eastern and Pacific.
It's anybody's match, Chris. Gant has opened the door. He only leads by a few pins as we go into the 10th frame.
Good composure on the left lane for 26-year-old John Gant.
That's the first time he's even been in the pocket, Chris. He missed it in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. He got 2 crossover strikes to keep him in the match, and he has now set up a situation where if he gets a strike, the graphic tells the story. In 7 pins, he'll win. If not, Soper can double in the 10th, as he did last year to get himself in a position to defend his AC Delco title.
Loser, 8,500. Winner of the match going into the final, a chance for 27,000. Well,
bye-bye. It's all up to Butch Soper now. He just whiffed it out the door. He reached for the rosin bag a 1 shot late. He grabbed it after that for the spare ball. Almost dumps it off in the moat. Clips off 7 pins, leaves the 1, 3, 6. The best he can shoot is 199. Soper can still win the match with 2 strikes.
All right. The defending champion now, Butch Soper, 35 years old, the veteran, 14-year man on the tour. He needs 2 strikes and 5 pins to win and go into the final against Mike Albee.
But she needs 2 strikes and 5.
There's 1. First game, it was a 191 tie. A roll-off, Troop eliminated McCordick. Then in came Gant, who defeated Troop 226 to 193. And now, a strike and 5 pins to win. You got to get the strike right here, otherwise. Here he is in the right lane, using nearly all the approaches you see.
Oh, what a shame, Chris. He loses the match, and it all goes back to the 10-pin he missed in the 7th frame. It's going to be an all-lefty final. Gant against Albee. The last time we had that was in Denver last year, where Gant defeated Steve Cook.
What competition here in Northern California, where ABC will be 2 weeks from tomorrow for the 19th Super Bowl game, exclusively on ABC. All right, we'll be back with the final game.